Good. All right, well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our September Town Hall meeting. Again, so happy to see a nice crowd in front of us live. And for those of you who will be watching later on TV, welcome to you as well. We have another chock-full meeting, good information and stuff to share with all of you. But before we start, two things I think are important to note. First off, for those of you who celebrate Rosh Hashanah, Happy New Year to all of you. And for all of us, tomorrow, as we know, is the 20th anniversary of the September 11th bombings. I think we probably all can remember where we were or what may have been going on in our lives around that day, around that time. For me, it was probably the first or second, I'm going to say the second, what I would call sentinel moment in my life with respect to world events. The first being the explosion of the Space Shuttle Challenger. I was in grade school then, but I imagine it would have been much like, for those of you, the Kennedy assassination and perhaps even Pearl Harbor, that kind of a sentinel moment in our country's history. So tomorrow is 20 years, so I hope that everyone takes the opportunity just to take a few moments and reflect and think back to all of those lives that we lost that day and everything that has happened in our country's history since then, and just reflect on that. So with that, we will get started. We have a slightly different agenda today. What I mean by that is a few of our regular presenters are unable to join us, but we've got a few special guest stars as well. So with that, we're going to get rolling. And Tina is off this week, so I don't have a report for you from Village Point other than to let you know things are still going well. There are no COVID cases over there. There have not been for some time. We did have one staff member, but that's all been taken care of, and there are no residents who are COVID positive. So things are good, and we continue to do well over there at Village Point. So with that, I'll turn it over to our next presenter, Nathan Perez, our Director of Sales and Marketing. In case you haven't noticed, Nathan and his team have been extremely busy the last month or so. You've probably seen them here, there, and everywhere doing all kinds of stuff with lots of new folks. So I'll let Nathan fill you in on all the details. So with that, here's Nathan Perez.
Here you go, my friend.
Good morning. How are y'all? And to those of you at home, good evening, night, whatever, everything. So this month, what we'll do is we'll go over a snapshot of our success last month, and then I did do a roll-up from where we are in this point in the year. So for the month of August, we had a sales goal of 4. We had an actual result of 9 sales.
Yes.
Remember? I don't know.
Wow is right. Barry, I'm with you. Wow. We get big clap for that one.
Yes, thank you. Very busy, crazy month. Remember in July, we only had 1. Not to, bring up a bad point, but I remember when I said, hey, calm down, don't freak out. We have a good pipeline going on. So between July and August, that's 10 sales. That's split it in the middle, 5 a month. That's a really good month, especially given everything that we're all going through. So in terms of closings, you've heard this before, the magic number is 4, right? It's usually 4 or 5. We actually had 6 closings in August, and 2 folks joined us on a try before you buy contract. For those of you that aren't familiar, a try before you buy contract is a temporary contract that allows folks to move into the community, try us out before they fully commit. They stay in one of our furnished apartment homes, and it's usually for a month to 2 months. I've had one couple stay here for 3 months. Just to really try it out. They are paying customers at that point, so they are generating some revenue for us. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes they love it, and they end up depositing on an apartment while they're with us, and sometimes it's just not the right fit, but for that month or 2, they really got to live it. So we have had a really, really great month. Year to date, just good to kind of look at all the numbers. I know I look at them all the time, but just sharing it with you guys. We have up until the year to date, we had a goal of 33 sales. We actually have 37 in so far. We have a goal of 30 closings, and we have 31 closings in so far. So, God willing, we are doing very well this year. Hopefully we have a really strong finish to the end of the year. In September, we already have one sale, potentially 4 to 5 more. Those potentials, that means that people have already said to us, hey, I like this apartment, let me start working on the application. So they are pretty firm leads, or prospects, so to speak. So we should get at least 4 more deposits by the end of the month. This month, I am going to be away for a couple weeks, so I don't want to overload the sales team with doing events while I'm not here. So instead, we put together a really great testimonial letter. Those of you that have been participating in any sort of testimonial quotes, pieces throughout the whole past 2 years, we kind of pulled everybody together. It's a really nice piece that has a few of your faces on it, a few of your quotes on it. Larry Gelb, I'm very sorry, you ended up being Barry Gelb. That is literally the one thing that I missed on that when I was proofreading it, but hopefully I didn't cause too much of a scandal with that with their friends back in Clearbrook. But the Gelbs were in it, the Falks were in it, a few other people in this room. Thank you for participating. So it was a really nice, warm piece. It featured resident quotes and photos heavily, and the call to action is for them to come in for a personal appointment with the sales team. And then direct mail for events are going to continue in October. We've got 2 dates in October that we're going to do presentations and luncheons. So hopefully I'll be able to bring in 50 people in each of those. So that's another 100 folks coming through. And we have a professional event where we've partnered with Spring Point at Home and Siswati over at Village Point, where we'll have a group of professionals in here to kind of kick up that networking again. And then we have a unique kind of film screening that we are going to open up to the residents as well. We're going to put a slide on Touchdown for that. Residents as well as some of the outside community are going to be joining us for that. That film screening is called Fast Forward. It's actually a documentary that is focused on successful aging. So it's kind of a cool project where they've taken 4 millennials, younger folks, and their parents, and they have aged them through wearing cosmetics and devices to kind of show them what it's like to age throughout their lifetime. And so it's really going to, dissect that intergenerational play of, what are my grandparents going through? How is their vision being affected? How is their hearing and walking being affected? So it should be a really cool experience, and that is mid-October, kind of at night. So look for the flyers and the slides to go out on Touchdown on that soon. How you can help? Refer your friends. If you refer your friends to us, they end up moving into the community, you will receive 1 month off. We do pay for that out of our sales incentive budget. Some of you in this room have referred people to us, so thank you. Just continue to get that word out. The Shepherds, you brought us a bunch of friends recently, so we're reaching out to them and educating them about the product and the community. And we'll take it from there, all right? You can also provide a testimonial for our website or our collateral pieces, like the one that I just mentioned. And our social media. It's really great to add recommendations, Google reviews, all of those things push us up on the search engine optimizations so that we show up first rather than any of the competition. You can also take part in welcoming new residents. I know all of you do. It's such a warm, welcoming community. Please continue to do that. That is definitely something that new residents, when we're touching base with them a week or 2 after they move in, they're always saying to us, we're great because everybody that lives here just looks out for us, and I got lost, I got turned around, but I ran into so-and-so, and they ended up walking me to the clinic. Just continue to do that, really create that great warm sense of community. That's what we represent Monroe Village to be. So thank you so much for your support, and Happy New Year to those of you that are celebrating Rosh Hashanah.
We're going to hold all the questions till the end. Okay, if you don't mind. We have a pretty healthy agenda, so we'll try to hold everything to the end just like we normally do. Again, you can see the work that the sales team has been doing, and to see the number of sales and the number of move-ins, Nathan refers to them as closings, I call them move-ins, they're all the same thing. This year, of everything that this year has been, and I never thought I'd say that after what everything last year had been, but everything that this year has been is really impressive. And that's a credit to the community here at Monroe Village. And when I say the community, I mean all of you, because you are the ones who continue to give life to our community, to make it what it is. And when other folks visit us and are thinking about joining, all of you, they see that, they feel that. It's a vibe, it's an emotion. I don't know how to describe it, but you really can sense that as you walk through the halls of our community and you see whether it is events that might be going on here in the auditorium that we have a lot of folks participating in, whether it is those of you who are playing cards or playing mahjong out in the hallways at the various card tables we have, seeing that kind of life and that engagement, whether it is being out at the fitness center and see people swimming in the pool or doing a pool class, or where's Eugene Chang? He's not here. He and Esther are usually, oh, there he is, are usually my morning buddies I see in the fitness center doing their workouts. All of that indicates what type of a community we are, and that's you. You are the community. So showing that life and vibrancy is really something. And the other thing Nathan mentioned, and it really is incredible, the friendliness. And that's all you. When people walk through the halls, everybody says hello to one another. We take that for granted around here. I can tell you that doesn't happen at every community out there. Doesn't happen everywhere in life. I sometimes go to the grocery store and I want to say hello to people because I'm just so used to it. And people look at me like, all right, what the hell's wrong with that guy? But it's just what we do here because we care about one another and we want to support one another. And again, you are the ones as our residents who encourage that, who make that happen, and who lead ultimately other folks to wanting to come and be a part of our community. So I thank you for all of your continued support with that. So I mentioned a lot of fun stuff, and you all participate in a lot of fun stuff. And who helps bring us all that fun stuff? Steve Ween. So Steve, as we all know, is our Live Well program manager. Oh yeah, we can applaud him even before he makes it to the podium. Why not? He got his hair cut. He's looking good. He's styling. So with that, we'll turn it over to Steve, who's got a lot to share about all sorts of things going on in the next month or so. So here's Steve. Are you driving or am I driving?
You can drive.
I'll drive. All right. I don't know about that.
Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? Let's see. So yes, that's me. That's my name.
Gina.
Let's see. I can drive.
It's okay. Can you drive?
Yeah, I have my license. So here are some October. So right, we're still in September, but here's some dates that we're looking forward in October. So Saturday, October 2nd, Jeff Deershin. He'll be performing at 7 in the auditorium. Saturday, October 16th, Avi Winsna, performance at 7 in the auditorium. And Saturday, October 30th, Keith Spencer, performing at 7 in the auditorium. All these three entertainers, the feedback was good, so that's why they are invited back. So we're looking forward to having them again. And thank you to the Kiefer Fund for all the entertainment for this year has been brought to the Kiefer Fund. So thank you for all the generosity. So in the summer, we started doing a little bit more lectures, and I believe everyone has been very forthcoming with the positivity. So I thank you for that. So I wanted to share. So obviously, we're still keeping up with Friday with Stephen Pollock. So Friday, October 1st, will be the Bridges of Madison County. That will be a live performance with Caitlin and Stephen. On Friday, October 8th, the life and music of Burt Bacchanal. Presentation.
Come on.
I do know him. Do
you know the way to San Jose?
I do know that song. Presentation, live performance with Marcus Cheney and Stephen Pollock. Another lecture that we've had in the past. She also does a good job. Usually she comes on Thursdays. Is Gina Bloom. October 14th, we'll be talking about Watergate and the digital age. Friday, October 15th, Musical Since the Millennium, a live lecture and performance by Stephen Pollock. Monday, October 8th, Jane Austen, This is by Trish Chambers. She did the, when we had Women's Equality Day, she did that lecture, and the feedback was also positive, so I invited her back. So we're looking forward to seeing Trish. And Thursday, October 21st, the end of the Cold War, the Age of Terror, also with Gina Bloom. And,
No, you're good.
I'm good?
I flip-flopped you. I told you. You're good.
So we're looking forward again, Stephen's lectures for the Broadway that we've been doing for the last 3.5 months will be coming to an end, but he is still going to be with us. Like I told people who shared good reviews, I have Stephen coming to the end of the year. And again, I believe he does like it here too, so I thank you for being a good audience. And I know you're going to enjoy. He'll be doing a little bit more different topics, but you know, if you've been to Stephen's lectures before Broadway, he's very well knowledge. So we're looking forward to having him. October is also Active Aging, I call it month. Working with the Livewell Focus Group, and the residents told us it's better if we kind of have the whole month instead of 1 week, space it out. Because as you can see, we are doing other things too in the month of October. So Monday, October 4th, we had a big turnout with ladder ball during our previous programs we had in the summer. So we'll have a tournament at 1:30 in the auditorium. Wednesday, October 6th, we'll have a fall festival around the pond at 2 o'clock. If it does rain, we'll be inside, but the goal is to have it outside. Tuesday, October 12th, we'll have our Alzheimer's Association walk, 1:30 around the pond. If that is also arranged, we will look the following day. Be Wednesday the 13th at 2:30, okay? We definitely do need to do outside walking for the Alzheimer's walk. Wednesday, October 20th, Rally Day at 2 o'clock in the auditorium. Rally Day, that will be something new. I'm still working on the details, but basically, we do have a resident volunteer, like to have a rally day for our new residents or residents who do want to join to existing programs or events that we do, or new programs and events that we could be doing. So we look forward, everyone's invited. Thursday, October 21st, we did have a health fair previous, I think 2 months ago. It was more during the day. It was a success. We're going to have another one at 6 in the auditorium. Now this will be 6 to 8, okay? The reason why we did at night is there are family that would like to be part of it. And, of course, most of our families do work. So we wanted to be inviting for any of your family members to want to also see some of the health boosts that we have provided. Of course, the residents are invited as well. And we're still looking at what's going to be happening. I'm still adding things to the October calendar, so there's a lot going on. And I forgot to mention the lectures are all in here at 1:30. Okay, so all those fun lectures Friday, Thursday, and Jane Austen, it will be 1:30 in the auditorium. Let's see some other updates. Again, the Livewell profile, that's located in the Livewell hub, by my office, right by I believe the coffee bar is open now, so if you want a coffee later, fill out a profile. And again, we look at the trends, the data, and again, thanks for the new focus group. That'll be part of what we're looking into as far as what we need to maybe add to the calendar. Also, we've been having this announcement on TV. The Livewell team is seeking residents to contribute to our new publication. Submissions for our consideration should be emailed by October 1st. Okay, that's another initiative through the Livewell Focus Group. So we're asking residents who do have some interest to just forward those articles to myself. So that's my email. And you can talk to us too, we'll help you with that. And also Ashley has an email, so you can email Ashley. We're really looking forward to sharing the publication next month. Okay, this will be, our goal would be a quarterly publication. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Steve. Yet again, I get tired listening to everything you guys have planned. I'm not tired of hearing it, I just get tired of thinking about I'm really putting my foot in my mouth. There's so much going on, it makes me tired. How's that? So many different options, so many different choices, so many things to do. I think that's one of the really great things that we continue to expand here is you want to do it, it's out there someplace. If we're not doing it, talk to us about it. We'll see if we can. The new lectures and programs that we've added, the whole series with Stephen Pollack about Broadway. I know that's getting good attendance. Some of the other documentary things we've done. It's great, and there's such a wide variety, and I hope that folks continue to take advantage of all the things that we have to offer. So, we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about the indoors and the great outdoors. So, you've heard me say many times in the last few years about all the things that we have done to improve and enhance the interior of our community. And those of you who have lived here, probably I'm going to say 5 years or more at this point, know what I'm talking about in terms of enhancements and improvements and things that we've done inside the building really to revamp, reinvigorate your home, your community here. And it's really quite lovely at this point, at least in my opinion. But we also now want to take some of that life, some of that energy that we've created by redoing things here inside the building, and we want to take that outside the building. We want to make sure that the exterior or the grounds here at Monroe Village look as inviting and as beautiful as what we've been able to do inside. And again, those of you who have been here for several years, and even those of you who have only been here a few, I don't think I'm telling any tales out of school when I say that some of the exterior of the campus, the grounds specifically, is the way I might describe it. It definitely needs a little help. And we're hoping that you're going to be able to help us with some of that. We've looked at what we want to do outside, and you think about what does everyone see when you enter or leave our community. Now, all of us have different views out of our apartments or whatnot, but we all see the main entrance, the main gateway, as I've started to call it, the gateway to Monroe Village, which goes from Half Acre Road all the way in, past Village Point, past assisted living, and leads us up to our main entrance here in the Horseshoe Drive. So we're looking to do something that we probably haven't done here at Monroe Village before, is to start a project where we all can be a part of it, hopefully, and support and contribute toward what will be a lasting legacy. And I have thoughts about what I want to do, and I have some friends who've helped me figure out those thoughts. But we also want all of you to know about what we're looking to do. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to two of my good friends. Susan Sino, who I think we all know, who is a Senior Director of Development from the Foundation. And my other good friend, who I've known for many years at this point, and I had the honor of working with directly when I was over at Meadow Lakes, is the fella here, Joe Gripe. He is our Arboretum Director at Meadow Lakes. And Joe has years and years, enough years? of experience in the tree and landscape business. For those of you who don't know, well, two things. One of my first experiences with Joe, when I went to Meadow Lakes, I started at Meadow Lakes in September of 2012. Anybody remember what happened the end of October 2012? Hurricane Sandy. So I came, we were in the middle of Hurricane Sandy. What was it, Building 37, Joe?
Yes.
And Joe calls me about midnight and he says, well, we've got a tree down. I said, okay, it's storming. He said, no, the tree's in the building. I went into the building, Building 37, And thankfully, no one was hurt. The resident was quite all right. But in the middle of the storm, Joe was there getting that tree done, taking care of out of the way. And because of the resources and the folks that Joe knows, we were able to get things done on that campus at Meadow Lakes that I would venture to guess a lot of people had to wait a lot longer to get done. So it pays to know people. And that was one of my first encounters with Joe. And since then, I think we've been good partners and fast friends with different things. The other thing, I'm going to toot Joe's horn a little more. The other thing is, I don't know if you know this or not, but Meadow Lakes is actually an arboretum. And we are at Meadow Lakes are an accredited arboretum. And we just went through at that campus our second round of accreditation. And we're what level are we? Because I forget, Joe.
Level 2.
A level 2 accreditation. But we are Meadow Lakes, through Spring Point, we are the only retirement community in the world, right? I want to make sure I get this right because I botched it last time. The only community in the world who is a level 2 accredited arboretum. It really is very impressive. So if you haven't had a chance to go over to our Meadow Lakes community, maybe when things allow us to do so, we'll do a little driving tour over there. It's a beautiful, beautiful community. Jordan.
What does that mean?
What does it mean, an accredited arboretum? Well, I'll let Joe speak a little more to that and tell you, but basically it means we needed to submit a lot of documentation about the variety of trees and plants, different species we had on that campus, different things that we do to encourage growth, things we do that are environmentally friendly. Am I kind of hitting the big points there, Joe?
Yep.
To show our engagement or that community's engagement with the environment and with trees and landscape. And it really is quite beautiful. So that's a long-winded way of introducing my friend Joe, who oversees all of that. So I've asked him to come and help us, give us some thoughts and some ideas on what we can do as we work to recreate what I'm calling the gateway to Monroe Village. So with that, I think I'm going to turn it over to Joe, who's going to show you a little bit of what we're looking to do, and then Susan's going to talk with you as well. So please welcome Joe Gray.
You get me started.
So, I'll hit the left mouse and you're good.
That wasn't so hard. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the very kind introduction, Jay. That was very generous. So I remember talking with Jay some time ago about the entrance to the campus and saying, geez, you really got to do something about that. It's the front door. And there's some interesting things about this entrance, and we're talking specifically about the island. Can everyone hear me okay? Yes. Okay. So this island right in here, you may recall that there are cherry trees that are planted there. People have fond thoughts of cherry trees, as do I. However, the trees that remain out there are in bad condition. They're dying from various causes. They're diseased. And though many of them are in full leaf right now, and they might look like they're healthier than they are, they're on the way out. And in fact, many have already been removed. There are a couple nice things that you have going for you, though, out in that island. And chief among them is the...
Going the wrong way. You want me to go backwards for you?
Yeah, you might as well.
All right,
Please,
well.
thank you. The width of the island is a very good thing when it comes to tree health.
Keep talking.
It's the island that we're talking about, the area is over 500 feet long and it's 12 feet wide. So normally we're used to planting these little tiny strips between the curb and the sidewalk. Sometimes you only have 3 feet. Well, we've got 12 feet out there, which is a blessing and a curse, really, because there's a lot to do to clean it up. So when we look at this, you see a big area of empty mulch. Now that wasn't always the way. At one point there were some perennials planted out there and some roses, and they kind of fizzled out, and that wasn't that long ago. And one thing that I find very frustrating, when you select the right trees to plant, it often doesn't cost much more. But if you plant the wrong tree, the asset ends up depreciating. And you know, there's so many instances when we invest money into something, when you put a new roof on a building, and it immediately starts depreciating. You buy a new car and they depreciate like crazy when you drive it off the lot. But when you plant a tree, if you spend $1,000 on a tree now, in 5 years, that tree might be $2,500. In 10 or 20 years, it might be $20,000. And it's nice to see the right tree in the right place really grow as an impactful asset. So there are a few opportunities that we have where we can be so impactful. And this is obviously the front door to your community. It's something you see when you return home, and it's the last thing you see when you leave. So I was talking with Jay some time ago about the possibility of getting some really large, big shade trees out there. And my vision would be to have an alley of trees, much like this. Thank you,
Much
Jay.
like that.
You're remarkable. But to cover over the road, to give you this entrance experience as you're driving in, to have the asphalt shaded. And that's something that's often overlooked. Just to cast shade on hot asphalt is so much more calming, it's more welcoming. Instead of having hot asphalt out there with trees that are kind of senescing, it would be really impactful, I think. So the tree that I'm recommending be planted out there, thank you, Jay, is a native tree, but currently this is kind of the northern edge of the range. And right now we're trying to plant trees that are more tolerant of southern conditions, so they can still tolerate some cold weather, really cold weather, but also heat and drought, because that's the limiting factor for our trees now. So the Kentucky coffee tree is a native tree here. And that's important because it supports all of the native insects, which support the larger insects that feed on them, and then the small birds that feed on them. This is kind of a spiral effect. And they also get very large. So a smaller cherry tree, even though it might have very pretty blooms for a week and a half or 2 weeks in the spring, they only get so big. The other problem is the canopies are very low, so they end up being kind of in our space. So as you're driving in, they're almost starting to encroach. What I'm recommending is a tree that's very large and high branched, so the branches get up and out of your way and create this big structure out there. In time, obviously it would be cost ineffective to plant very large trees out there now. I'd recommend planting smaller trees from a reputable grower that are field grown and would take very well and really be vigorous growers. So Kentucky coffee trees, they're almost like a black walnut. They have a really interesting character. They've got stout twigs, a nice twig taper, and just have a really nice form. So Jay, if we could go back to that LA picture again, this is what we're looking to do. So not low branched trees, but high branched trees to give you a lot of structure, a lot of shade, and provide much more ecological benefit to the ecology and biodiversity. So if we can go forward a little, Jay, you can see down at this portion down here, that's what we have existing. But then up here, instead of having that mulch, maybe go to the next slide, we're going to turn all that brown area green. As an arborist, I don't normally care for turf. I find it offensive sometimes. However, it's important to have something evergreen that shows life instead of that brown mulch out there, just to give it life. Even in January, you'll see a nice green, evergreen lawn out there. And again, we're talking about a pretty large area because that island is so long and wide. But this is what the trees might look like in about 5 years because they are rapid growers. There was a concern that we wanted to have some color out there because we're removing the cherries, and people always like color. So we're recommending some flowering shrubs down here, and then maybe some banners out here just to have some movement and some additional color. Might help to spruce it up while the trees are growing in. The trees are really going to be the showstoppers here, though. Jacob, we go one more. Okay, so this I think is what's doing all the talking. You can see what you have here now, and though Village Point is a lovely building, I think we might be able to do a little better just by creating some shade and some screening, getting that canopy up, and you see what the shadows are doing for that asphalt. And through the magic of computer software, we're able to show what the trees would look like as they grow. However, I wasn't able to show what the existing trees on the right side would look like, but the intention is that they would connect. You'd have this cathedral ceiling type effect, where, we have a cathedral ceiling and a really nice entrance and exiting experience. So this is what it would look like from the top down. On the right side, you see Half Acre Road, and then this is the Long Island Inn, and then probably the single most important tree in this whole planting is this one over here. So this is the entrance or exit into Village Point, but to carry this line across that entrance really kind of makes it feel like it was designed correctly, and really finishes it off. If it were just to stop there, it would be a little harsh and a little more contrived. So just breaking that entrance and having that extra tree on the other side is really helpful. So, if you get me talking about trees, I will keep you here until the middle of the afternoon. I think I should probably step away now. I'll be available to answer any questions. I'll stay in the back if anyone has any questions, and I'll pass it over to Susan. Thank you.
I need to move this down. There's a height difference here. Hello, Monroe Village. Hello. Thank you. I'm Susan Sino. We are delighted that you're here. Joe is really put a lot of his own time into this project. Jay has been very supportive, and we truly want to make the entranceway, the gateway of Monroe Village, something that you smile when you come in and you smile when you leave. So that is our goal. What and how are we going to do that? We're going to do it with your help. And I know you all are going, oh, how's that? We're going to ask you to donate. However, the goal is $40,000. Guess what? We already have 25%. Don't you think that deserves a round of applause? You should feel great. You have anonymous donors that have already contributed. We have 25% of the $40,000 already in. So we have brochures that we're going to hand out with donation envelopes, and some of you may have received them in the mail as well. We're going to answer questions for you. I can visit you. But before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about how it's going to come together. We have 25%. We need your help with $30,000. We will keep you updated as to where we are on the goal. We are going to celebrate when we hit the goal, and we are going to provide recognition for those who have contributed. Yes, we're going to celebrate. We're going to have your names on someplace, Jay, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to really do it right. We're going to take the time when we have the money to plant the trees, which will be in the fall, not this fall, but next fall. We're going to do it. We're going to make it a big deal. We're going to make it just so happy and positive. We're going to have coffee for everybody because what do we have? Coffee trees, right? Maybe even coffee cake. We need your help. What's that?
Definitely coffee.
Definitely. Jay says definitely coffee cake.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll get the best coffee
That's
cake
right.
from a good bakery that Jay is personally connected to, a bakery in Yardley. Best coffee cake ever.
Yep.
So once we hit that goal, we will truly celebrate. We're going to recognize each of you for being part of your donation to help us reach this goal. We're going to be available to talk to you. I will visit you to answer your questions. Joe's going to be able to answer your questions. He will be here again later in the month. And we just hope that you find it in your heart to really want to be part of this. And for the first time at Monroe Village, we are really doing a huge project that's making a difference on the campus where you, the resident, are going to be recognized for many, many generations. These trees are going to be here a long time after all of us, and so will your names. So we thank you. This is a legacy moment for you to think about giving back to your home and to your friends. Thank you again, and I'm going to pass it to Jay.
Thanks, Sue. Oh, we'll back up. Okay. Again, there's a height difference. What do you need? Oh no, you need that.
Thank you.
The lovely world of masks. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Joe. I hope all of you are excited about what we've shared with you this morning. I'm excited about it. I think it's really something pretty neat, something that will have a long lasting impact on our campus, on our community. And it's something that we can build and do together. And I just think that's really neat to be able to start a project together, to work on it together, and to see the completion of it together. So again, as Sue said, we are hoping that you will be generous and help us with this project. There are informational flyers that we will hand out for folks when we're done. And also when we are done with our meeting today, there are boards up here that show the pictures and the information that we had on the slides. So what we'll do is Joe, when the meeting is over, will hang out up here at the boards and be able to answer anybody's questions that you may have about our project or what we're looking to do, the types of tree, all of that sort of stuff that I think is important to understand. But again, I think this project is something we all can rally around and really see. I guess it's not the fruits of our labor, because it's not a fruit tree, but is a coffee a fruit technically?
It is.
All right, there you go. I got coffee is technically a fruit. So we get to see the fruits of our labor when all of this comes together. And again, we've already got 25% of the money, which is an amazing total for something that we haven't really officially kicked off yet, because here's today our official kickoff of this campaign. So for those who have donated, thank you for your generosity. All right, so my famous words, we're coming down the home stretch. All right, I have just a few things to share with all of you today. It has been another busy month, as we know, with a lot happening and a lot going on. So just a few updates that I wanted to share. First off, vaccination. So we've been hearing a lot in the news lately about the COVID-19 booster or a COVID-19 third shot. Technically, they are not the same thing. Technically, as I understand it, someone who is deemed immunocompromised needs a third shot, and those who are not immunocompromised need a booster shot. I'm not exactly sure what the difference there is. I don't know if it's in how much or the virility. I'm not sure, but I know people who are sure, and they're going to make sure we get what we need. So we are working with our vendor, with our laboratory company, who did the initial vaccination clinics, to hold vaccination clinics here for all of you to get that booster or third shot. And it will be, as I understand it, the same. So I think we all got the Pfizer shot here, as I recall. If you got your vaccination here at Monroe Village with us, it will be the same company. It'll be the Pfizer shot again. I don't have an exact date for you yet, but as soon as we do, we will let you know that, and we'll get plenty of advance notice out there so that everyone can plan accordingly. We know that this is important to all of you. It's important to all of us, and we want to continue to keep us safe inside the bubble here at Monroe Village. So there's COVID. And then there's the flu. And we do flu shots here every year, as everyone knows, and we are working on that as well. I don't have a date for you yet on that. Typically, we have done it in late September, so you might be wondering, well, why don't we have a date already? And really, it just revolves around the timing and getting everything coordinated between the COVID-19 and the flu shot. I don't know whether it will be at the same time. There is some conflicting science out there, I guess, as to whether you can do both at the same time or you need to have a break in between the two. We're working to get all of that resolved, but I promise you we will have both the flu vaccine shot available for you as well as the COVID-19 shots available as soon as we get everything coordinated. So more information to come on that, but wanted to let you know it is definitely in the works. Chaplaincy. So, for those of you who attended our Rosh Hashanah services, you saw Rabbi Asher do a great service for us, but you also saw another face, and those of you who are tenured members of the Monroe Village community may have recognized that face. Chaplain Jenny Urbanski was here with us. Jenny is currently the chaplain over at Stonebridge. However, Jenny was once upon a time one of our chaplain interns here under Reverend Terry at Monroe Village. So Jenny has a very special place in her heart for our community. And as we move forward with our chaplaincy program, Jenny is going to be a part of that for us with consultation from the woman I keep referring to as the sage from St. Michael's. Does anybody know who the sage from St. Michael's is? No, that's because I'm the only one who refers to her that way. Reverend Terry has moved to St. Michael's, Maryland, and she continues to support and help us from the eastern shore of Maryland. So that's why I call her the sage from St. Michael's. So she's going to continue to help support us as we work through rejuggling and reconfiguring our chaplaincy program. But Jenny is going to be a part of it with us for the foreseeable future. And I think that's really exciting for us. And we'll continue to have Rabbi Asher with us as well. So that's the chaplain update as well as the information for here, and it will be the same over at Village Point. The other update I wanted to provide you all with is a little bit of a staffing update. If you have watched the news or seen anything out there in the last few months, if you've been to a restaurant outside of Monroe Village, if you've been to the grocery store, if you've been to Target, if you've been just about any place where people work, you may have noticed there's few of them working. We are not immune to that here at Monroe Village. The labor market is extremely challenging right now. There are many more jobs open than there are people willing to fill them right now. It's a struggle. In restaurants and that whole culinary world in general, it is particularly acute. I haven't been to a restaurant in the last couple of months where there hasn't been one of a couple of different things, either a sign flat out saying, we apologize in advance, we don't have enough staff, things are going to move a little slower, to seeing owners of restaurants cooking in the back where they normally would be doing other roles or other tasks, to seeing that prices are rising. One of our favorite restaurants, they put a note on the front of their menus, we apologize, but all of our menu items are up $1 from what's posted, just because they are struggling to get the help and they need to pay more to do so, and they're also struggling to get product. If you've been to the grocery store doing any food shopping, as I've said before, cost of meat, poultry, pork, it's gone through the roof. All of your proteins. And there was actually, I guess it came out from one of the federal agencies this week looking at inflationary factors, and the price of food has gone just through the roof. So it's been really, really hard. And our double whammy with that, particularly with dining, is the kids. We all know that our dining services, the servers, I always call them the kids. I could probably hope I'm not offending them. But they're mostly high school students, right? Wonderful young people who are here working with us to serve meals. School started this week. And as always is the case when the new school year starts, some of the kids become less available to us. Because I don't think any of us would argue that their schoolwork needs to come first. And that's most important. I say that as a parent. I'm sure you all did, those of you who are parents would have said the same to your kids when they were that age. And then some of them are also participating in various extracurricular activities as the school year ramps up. Whether that be, sports or be clubs or something or other like that, which again makes their availability a little bit more limited. So we're stuck in a little bit of a pickle, and we are doing our absolute best to ensure that we have adequate staff to serve all of you in both the bistro and in the Fireside Restaurant each and every day and each and every evening. And I know we've had a bump in the road or two in the last few days, and I wanted to publicly acknowledge that and let you know that we are working through some of those challenges, and we're looking to rejuggle what we've got in terms of staff so that we can continue to meet everyone's needs and desires to dine in either the Fireside Restaurant or in the Village Bistro. So we ask for your patience and understanding with that as we work through these challenges. Hopefully we will see it come to a conclusion fairly swiftly, and it will just be a passing problem that we'll have dealt with and moved on. Speaking of dining, so I wanted to let you know, it's almost fall. I don't like acknowledging that. Even though I like the fall season, I don't like what comes after the fall season, so that's why I don't like acknowledging that fall's coming. But with fall, which starts on the 22nd of September, we will bring in the new fall menus in the Fireside Restaurant. And believe it or not, it has now been a whole year since we reopened the Fireside Restaurant after all of the real lockdowns we went through with COVID. And when we reopened the restaurant a year ago, we started the seasonal menu concept. We had been discussing it prior to the COVID fund, for lack of a better term, and had to put it on hold, and then we were able to roll it out last fall. So here we are a whole year moving forward. So we have a year's worth of fall menus that your Dining Services Committee has been kind enough to take a look at for us, to offer us feedback on which menus and specials were popular, which ones were not, what we should do more of, what we should do less of, what we should never do again, all of that. But all of that feedback is coming from the Resident Dining Services Committee, and I just wanted to again publicly acknowledge and thank the members of that group for providing us with that feedback. I think the group met earlier this week, if I recall correctly, and you went through the October menus. So you went through 1 month's worth of menus. And then Marlene Zeiselman, who is the chair of the Dining Services Committee, reviewed all of that with Mike Wierzbowski, who's our director of Dining Services, who is then going to take that information and plan our various menu items and specials for the fall season. So look for the new things coming out, so we'll get rid of some of the more summery specials that we've had out there, and we'll bring in a few more heartier things. I think you'll see some specials with seasonal items again, some pumpkin type stuff, pumpkin spice everybody loves these days, so you might see some of that in there. I don't know what else Mike's going to come up with, but you'll see the different seasonal menus, so we look forward to hearing your feedback when those roll out in the coming weeks. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, and it does bear note that the Employee Appreciation Fund is currently soliciting for their annual appeal. I know we already talked about the trees, so I'm hitting two different things at the same time, but last month Barry Gelb spoke to all of you about the importance of the Employee Appreciation Fund and about the Residents Association. So I just wanted to give you a few reminders about that. As you all know, we have a no tipping policy here at Monroe Village. When you think about in the outside world, so to speak, outside of the bubble, right? You go to a restaurant, you leave a tip. Typically, 15, 20%, good service. Maybe if you lived in an apartment building, you tipped the doorman, you tipped different people, the trash man. This is New Jersey, we always tip the trash man, right? All those different things that as a resident of our community, you no longer have to worry about. You're not allowed to tip our staff here. They're not allowed to accept tips. But it is the opportunity for you as residents to show your appreciation for all of that hard work that our staff does. You know, I think particularly in the last year with everything with COVID, we know how hard the team has worked to keep all of us safe inside the bubble here, to continue to provide us with the same level of care and service despite some unimaginable challenges. So if you are so inclined to make a contribution to the Resident Association Employee Appreciation Fund, everyone would be most appreciative. And those contributions can go into the Resident Association mailbox, which is in the mail room. It can also be left in the administration office if you want. For those of you who are unfamiliar with where the Resident Association mailbox is in the mail room, if you're looking at the in-house mailboxes on the back wall, all the way down the bottom, sort of in the middle, but to the right, I believe. Left. To the left? All right, thank you. To the left is a box that says Residents Association. The one to the right says Business Office, I guess. If it ended up in that one, we'd make sure it gets to the right place too. But the box on the left says Residents Association. So you can leave any donations and contributions there. And again, we do thank you for your generosity. I'm just on all sorts of financial stuff today. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is it's budget season again. And I wanted to remind you all of how our budget process works here at Monroe Village. We've actually been working on the budget for 2022 since early July. The department directors here at Monroe Village and Village Point have been reviewing their expenses. They've been reviewing their anticipated expenses for the coming year and have put together, with the help of the finance team at the Spring Point Home Office, our draft budget. And it's currently going through some massaging and some review. Now remember, when we talk about our budgets, there's two different types of budgets. There's an operating budget and a capital budget. The operating budget is what I kind of describe as your checking account. Money comes in, money goes out. It's your day-to-day or month-to-month expenses. Your mortgage, your rent, your utility bill, all those sorts of things, your credit card bills, that kind of stuff is our operating budget. And that's the thing that the department directors work on and put together and then manage throughout the year. And then there's our capital budget. And those are things I describe as things you might pay for out of your savings account. They're bigger ticket items that don't happen all the time, but things that are important. Maybe you need to get a new water heater. Maybe you need to replace your roof. That sort of stuff. Maybe it's time to buy new furniture in your living room. I don't know, whatever it might be. Those are things that are bigger ticket items that don't happen all the time. And those are what we call capital projects. So we have a capital budget that helps pay for those capital projects. And we've completed in years past what's called a capital needs assessment. We use some outside experts to look at a lot of our mechanicals, the things that I call the unsexy stuff, the air conditioning systems, the water systems, cooking equipment, all those sorts of things to help us understand when we might need to replace different things. And they help us understand what we need to budget in that capital budget to replace those different items over time. So we're working on the operating budget and the capital budget. And once we get all of that put together, and we have what we believe is our final proposed operating budget, we will review it with select groups of residents who are representatives of all of you. So we will share that information, review it, and ask for comment from both the Financial Advisory Committee as well as the Resident Association Executive Committee. And as Barry shared with you last month, we have put together an interim or acting executive committee to carry us through the remainder of 2022. And those folks will have the opportunity to take a look at the budget in advance for final board approval, which has to come from the Board of Trustees. That includes your resident representative to the Board of Trustees. Is Marie Eppinger here? There's Marie. So Marie Eppinger is your representative to the Board of Trustees, to the Spring Point CCRC Board of Trustees. So she ultimately gets the opportunity to offer comment and to vote on the budget at the board level, and she'll be present in those meetings as well to be able to speak on behalf of all of the residents. Once all that is done, then we put together our presentation to share with all of you. And as of now, subject to change, that presentation is scheduled for Monday, November the 15th at 10:30 here in the auditorium. And that will take the place of our November town hall meeting, because God knows you don't want to hear me drone on in 2 different meetings in a month. So we save you from that and only do one with the budget meeting in November. So that's the outline and the overview of the budget process. I hope that you found that information useful. And with that, we will turn up the lights if we can and turn it over to comments and questions. For those of you who are watching this at home, you can email or call Gina DePiro at her email address, which is up on the screen, or at extension 6413, if you have any comments or questions that you would like to have asked or answered. So with that, Tony's here. Tony, I'm so happy I see you today. After our conversation yesterday,
Check the obituary column.
you checked the obituary column, you weren't in it, so you were good. Excellent. So Tony is going to go around and ask for questions, so please raise your hand so he sees you. We will continue where Tony will hold the mic and just hold it for you for COVID purposes. We'll start with right here, and then we'll move over to Mr. Berkowitz because he had a question earlier, so we'll hit you second, okay? Hi, Marlene.
Hello. I remember the last month's meeting, we had talked about making the shows, etc., at 7:15. I noticed everything Steve put on was at 7.
Right, and that's because a lot of that's already been scheduled prior to that. We will continue to see what we can do to move that a little bit in the months ahead.
Because we have to rush with dinner to get upstairs.
We will make sure that we continue to schedule new folks.
Okay. Just checking because I saw it wasn't done.
I appreciate the reminder. Thank you. All right, we're going to head all the way over to the side there, Tony.
Same question.
Same question. All right, there you go. So we're working on moving those programs to 7:15. We're good. All right. I think we answered his question, Tony.
Yes, you answered my question.
All right. See, great minds think alike. All right, we got Phil there in the back. Raise your hand up high, Phil, so Tony sees you.
Jay, currently, what percentage of our staff is not vaccinated?
We currently have about 80% of the staff who are vaccinated, and we have just implemented a new policy where all new staff members we hire will need to be vaccinated in order to be hired.
I made a suggestion to the resident association, and I'd like to make it publicly here too. I strongly endorse, are all supporting it, but I think we should limit the distribution to members of the staff who are vaccinated. The members of the staff, the 20% who are not vaccinated, I don't feel should get anything. It will be an inducement for them to get vaccinated.
All right, who else has a comment? Looks like Julie's got something.
Thank you. I assume, Phil, that you're talking about the tips for distribution? Okay, the appreciation fund? Phil, are you talking about the appreciation fund?
Yes.
Okay, I can understand that. However, I can't really go with that because we didn't have it as a requirement to be vaccinated. So it might be something to look for in the future, but since we didn't require it, you can't punish somebody for that. That's my personal opinion. And thank you for all that everybody's done with as far as the COVID is concerned. You guys did a great job, and you do a great job overall anyway. Thank you.
You're very kind. Thank you so much. I think Betty's got something in the back there.
Relative to the vaccination situation,
does that mean, since we are going to require vaccinations for any new employee, does that mean that we are going to institute a vaccine mandate?
Right now, our policy is being adopted for new hires. Other comments or questions? Oh, Jill's got one in the front here, Tony.
Raise your hand.
That brings up the question of all the aides that are floating around that may be privately hired and their vaccination status, which has me more worried
Well,
than the staff.
I will offer you this. People who engage private duty staff should be doing such per our recommended and, to be honest, per your contractual responsibility, which is through a licensed, accredited agency who would have their own policies and procedures and responsibility with respect to any vaccination or any other health status. Residents choose to make individual arrangements and do so with the understanding that it is not in compliance with our policies and procedures. I can tell you that Spring Point at Home utilizes the same processes that we do with respect to COVID vaccination and making it available to their staff, and they have a very high compliance level as well. Anyone who comes in our building, regardless whether it be a resident, a guest of a resident, staff member, private duty, whatever, should be coming in through the front door, and they are all to be screened. And if they are not coming in through the front door, that's a problem as well. And the reason we do that right now is to continue to keep the bubble safe. Folks need to be screened and make sure that they are safe to enter the building. I can tell you that the few isolated cases that we have had in the past year on the independent living side have not been due to exposure within the community. That does not mean that somebody maybe did or did not have a private duty aide in their own home, but none of it has occurred as a result of anything that involved a Spring Point employee.
The CDC has recommended sometime now, but more strongly recently in some of the scientists, that people in general, when they attend the meeting, now vaccinated or not, whether in close proximity to people, there's no spacing, and there is a man that I have a little what you call the long hauler. I had COVID, and I recovered from COVID. And if you watch Chris Cole on TV with the other guy, you'll find that people have long hauling. I have a long hauling, a little brain fog occasionally when I'm talking. I used to talk much more rapidly and closely, so you have to forgive me. But they are recommending now that people in a situation such as this, where it's close proximity, that people wear masks. That's CDC and the other scientists, and we are not doing that here. And I would like to recommend, although sometimes not a popular thing to say, that when we're in a close proximity meeting or there's a show and so forth, that we wear our masks. And I don't know what your position is on that.
At this point in time, thank you for that feedback, Bernie. At this point in time, our policy will remain the same in that all staff members will wear masks regardless of setting or situation. And residents are encouraged to wear masks if they so desire, but we are not going to mandate it in any setting at this point. Of course, that is subject to change if conditions warrant, so.
You said something about residents when they come in the front. You said residents when they come in the front door go through all that stuff?
Yeah, I did, and I didn't mean it.
Okay, that's That's what I was gonna say, they never did it.
No, we're not doing, I started with residents, I meant residents visitors, which I think, yeah. So yes, thank you for catching me. No, I might just dislike you for a day. No, I can't, Marlene. Jill's got another one.
I think you need to have a lesson and meet with Larry Gelb and Barry Falk so that you don't mix them up and make them one person.
No, I didn't call him Barry Gelb.
You did?
Did I? It's Barry Gelb and Larry.
You said Barry.
Oh, I got him turned around. Because it's the Barry and Larry show, as I've referred to them. Thank you. It's all right. You should hear what people call me. All right. Anybody got anything else? All right. Hearing none, again, I'd like to thank you all for being here today. We'll turn the lights up in the front. If anybody has any specific questions about the gateway to Monroe, Joe will be here to answer some tree questions. Susan will be here as well. And thank you again for being here, and have a wonderful day. Enjoy this beautiful weather that we have.